We had one plain sexual encounter in December of 2020. Nothing that could be considered remotely rough. She initiated it, but don't take my word for it. Take hers.
Disappointing.
This is a picture and text message she sent me the next morning explaining why she came on to me. And for months afterwards, she repeatedly requested to sleep with me again. For example, this text from January 7th, 2021. At one point, she even requested a sample of my sperm so she could have my child whenever she wanted to in the future. Bitch! When I refused to pay her the $3.6 million she was asking for, she made up a bogus sexual assault claim and filed a civil suit against me.
So Trevor Bauer, I don't know if you remember this. Let's set this up for you because I say this does tie, like sometimes you do step back and you go, oh my God, I can't believe we're here. We're just talking about the illegal alien issue. And now we also have a culture where people's lives, their livelihoods can be destroyed and taken from them simply through lies. You know, I was just watching, I mean, it was not that long ago, Patriot was one, Braveheart. Like you watch these films and you go, oh my God. I remember saying to myself, imagine that moment when they're running into battle, right? Yeah. And they're stabbing each other. And then afterwards, the relief. I'm going, I don't think that we will ever feel that relief of surviving. And then you realize it's just a digital version of that today, or an office version of that. They were fighting over land. What were they fighting over? They were fighting over the ability to provide for their family, to feed their family. Back then, you needed tracts of land. That was what was most valuable. Today, how do you make a living? Well, you typically don't. There are some farmers out there. You maybe work in an office. Maybe you run a small business. Maybe you make your living online. Maybe you make your living as an athlete. That brings us here to Trevor Bauer. People have fought to the death over less, just to be clear. Just change plot of land where you grow your crops or some acreage where you hunt. Change that to how you make your living today, to how you feed your family today. And it can be taken from you. And it happens all the time. And so rarely do people put up a fight. People who survive that, I think it's actually comparable. I'm sure you're not getting run through with a blade, but you know what? You are dodging a bullet. So how many times have you heard this story as we get into Trevor Bauer? Yeah, see a man falsely accused of sexual assault, harassment, abuse, naughty words, whatever the hell it is. Pattern usually goes like this. Man gets accused of wrongdoing. Man gets dragged into public. He loses his job, reputation, ability to provide a living. He loses his livelihood. Then facts come out that irrefutably show the man was innocent, and the man still has no job. And the accuser gets to live on like nothing really happened because they're not in the public eye anymore. So that brings us here to Trevor Bauer. And I'm not even a baseball guy. Don't know him. It's after Johnny. This is something that stood out to all of us in the post-Me Too era because it's the most egregious, right? This was a guy who was a baseball player, and he faced 4 charges of sexual assault. Now, the reason that's important is because this is, just so you know, this is a tactic that you will see from these people. They'll throw out 1, 2, 3, 4 so that you, living in a sane world, you go, where there's smoke, there's fire, only they can all be entirely fabricated. Felonious, as a matter of fact, by classification. And that's what we see here with Trevor Bauer. But this is a tactic that they use. We want to go after this. We're going to make sure that he loses his reputation, his livelihood, shake him down for cash. So 2 Ohio women accused Mr. Bauer of sexual assault. They never filed any suits, to be clear. You know about it. It didn't go through the courts. One of them, a California woman, this was, I think the one we covered a while back, was Lindsay Hill, attempted to defraud Bauer by knowingly falsely accusing him of sexual assault. Why do I say that? Because she said that he choked and punched her, right? She said that he choked, and the picture that you saw in the New York Post, or whatever it was, Variety, Rolling Stone, was choke marks, right? Bruises on her neck and on her eye. Her lawyer, Brian Friedman, at that point in time, they had the pictures on her phone. She had a video, which we showed you, of her smiling to the camera the morning after sleeping with him, which she bragged about to her friends, saying she was going to sleep with him to try and get his money, winking at the camera, no bruises, no choke marks. That was the morning of the day, or within 48 hours, that she took those photographs where the bruises magically appeared. This evidence was not handed over. I believe that she actually lost the suit and has to pay his legal fees, but hey, what's the difference? He lost about a $100 million contract. Yep. She's just another nameless floozy who took a swing and a miss. Again,
which is surprisingly what Trevor Bauer makes people do all the time.
Yes.
It's called a whiff. Wow. He set a UCLA record for whiffs.
Right. And you know what? You can do everything right, be a great player, and if someone decides, nope, today we're going after you, you can lose it all. You think it won't happen to you? Guess what? It can happen to anyone. And, of course, you have a legal system that encourages it. You have people out there who make money just shaking people down.
Absolutely. And the other ones, these women accusing him, like you said, they never filed charges. Trevor addresses it in his video that he's going to release, and we're talking about that in a second. They never came forward and did anything. This was just that whole smoke fire thing that you were talking about. There's more women accusing him. He must have done something wrong. He must have at some point crossed the line. And so Major League Baseball, instead of standing up for Trevor Bauer, even when he was found to be completely innocent of this and set up, the text messages from Lindsay were way over the top. I'm going to get that bag. I'm going to go after the money. We covered this on the show in depth. MLB walked away. The Dodgers walked away. Both of these institutions walked away from an innocent man because it's easier to do that than to have the Karens screeching at the door for some fake story that never gets corrected in the media. That is the playbook. A familiar one, unfortunately, but that is the playbook that you see so many people going to today because they know all they have to do is try to ruin you in the public. That's it. Doesn't have to be true. Doesn't have to be based on facts. Brian Friedman obviously doesn't deal in a lot of those, unfortunately, in this case, specifically.
Right.
He had those images first and still went out to the public media to try to squeeze Trevor Bauer for money.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And by the way, same playbook they try and use against Donald Trump. Let's just add it up, E.G. and Carol. Let's just add it up. Who was that? Stormy Daniels, who said the affair didn't happen, but then wanted some money.
Wrote a letter and signed it.
Yeah, wrote a letter and signed it. Let's get rid of the Biden. However, when it's Clinton, and there is a lineup.
Right.
There was a lineup that would, by the way, it would force them to open up a new checkout aisle if you were at the grocery store of women who were sexually assaulted. They can just selectively apply it. Oh, we're going to erase you. Don't know this guy. I just don't like to see it happen. You all knew about Johnny Depp because he was famous. It was in the public eye.
Right.
A lot of you don't know about this case, and we'll bring up some other cases too where this happened. This is the playbook that they use. So when you see a concerted attack on someone, I just ask that you go, wait a second. Is Trevor Bauer for women where there's smoke, there's fire, or just click one or two clicks deeper?
Yeah, give it some more thought because a lot of these people don't know baseball. They don't know the world that he's in.
Yeah.
And they have no idea. They just go, oh, it's not that big of a deal. He can't get a job. He probably wasn't that good anyway. No. He's one of the best pitchers in the world.
Right.
Top 20, probably.
Yeah. Also has committed no rape or physical assault. So that's a plus.
Been proven.
True.
Yeah.
Been proven that he hasn't.
You can't say that about every other player because they didn't have to prove it. And a lot of them probably do take a swat every now and then. They're following the school of
Also,
Sean
not
Connery.
a problem in the NFL.
No, not a problem
No.
at
I
all.
was about to say Ray Rice came back after knocking his girlfriend out, right, and dragging her under the elevator. We had footage of that.
Yeah.
That was fine.
Did he come back? I don't follow
I'm pretty
football.
sure he came back for a little while. At least.
Michael Vick has a career after electrocuting dogs.
Hey, he served his time.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he served his.
I'm a fan of Michael Vick. He served his time.
Okay, all right,
But the
fine.
Cleveland Browns wouldn't take him back. The dog pound with the dogs and stuff. It just
I can imagine. I don't know. I don't understand the reference, but I'm sure it's a good one. So yesterday, Trevor Bauer announced that that some other accusers. There's one who's from Arizona, a woman named Darcy Adana Esmanu. Esmamani, she says, is now facing.
It's a me? No, it's a menu.
It's my money. So this person is now facing, one of the accusers, criminal charges.
One of the women who accused me of sexual assault just got indicted for committing felony fraud against me. Imagine that. Let me catch up to speed. In the last 3 years, 2 women have taken legal action against me. Lindsay Hill started all of this. You may remember her from this video as the girl who set me up and lied to
There's
the
a
world
video of her
in an
that
attempt
morning.
to take
No
my
bruises.
money. Well, today,
Smiling.
the only other one, Darcy Adana Esamonu, has been criminally indicted for committing felony fraud against me and another man. So now she's facing up to 16 years in prison.
Now, I understand that's a video from him, okay? This is according to the Maricopa County indictment of this woman. It says that she knowingly did obtain a benefit from Trevor Anthony Bauer by means of fraudulent pretenses, representation, promises, or material omissions, knowingly did obtain or sought to obtain property or services by means of a threat in the future to expose a secret or an asserted fact in a social media message or in any other manner. Here is him describing, hey, you think where there's smoke, there's fire? Wait a second. The facts are coming out. Here's Bauer describing exactly what happened with her.
We had one plain sexual encounter in December of 2020. Nothing that could be considered remotely rough. She
It was only 2
initiated it,
minutes.
but don't take my word for it. Take hers.
Disappointing.
This is a picture and text message she sent me the next morning explaining why she came on to me. And for months afterwards, she repeatedly requested to sleep with me again. For example, this text from January 7th, 2021. At one point, she even requested a sample of my sperm so she could have my child whenever she wanted to in the future.
yeah, no
Now,
kidding, right?
It's hard to keep track, but she's made at least 4 7-figure demands over the last few years. More than a year after the one time we slept together, and only after Lindsay Hill made up her false allegations, Adana retained a lawyer. She then demanded $3.6 million and claimed I forced her to have an abortion, leaving her emotionally devastated and irretrievably damaged by it.
Oh, she's dead.
But here's the thing. She never had an abortion because she was never even pregnant, and that's corroborated by her own medical records. Bitch! When I refused to pay her the $3.6 million she was asking for, she made up a bogus sexual assault claim and filed a civil suit against me.
So, a couple of things here. Let's get rid of the male-female thing, like as though this is a red pill or black pill issue. Women, please, do you have a father? Do you have a brother? Do you have sons? Do you see what they're facing in the world? Just like all men, decent men, aside from a very small percentage who are criminals, they hate rape. They want to kill rapists. They want to protect the women in their lives. The vast majority of men, let's say that. We've all been in groups of friends with men all the time. Not once has a man said, hey guys, when are we going to get to raping? Because they know we'd kick their ass. So I just ask that women start policing your own if you have any men in your life who you want to protect. Because guess what? Men can't do it because we've been told that we can't understand if we have a penis. This lady's story was so bogus, she was fired not by one, but by 2 law firms.
Well, that's bad.
We now have emails between her and the first 2 law firms that dropped her, in which they acknowledged they never had any evidence to support her claims.
Happens
but they'll
a lot.
try to get my money anyway. I then shared an audio recording I have in which Adana contradicts her own claims and asks me for money. In the emails, her lawyers agreed that that's insurmountable evidence, and they inform Adana that they can no longer represent her unless she can provide documentation or proof of her claims. Yeah, of course, she couldn't do that, so the law firm urged her to consult other law firms with different standards.
You know, unethical ones.
Yes, exactly.
You know, scumbags.
Yes.
I know of one associated with the case.
Yes. Like,
Here's the bathroom troll lawyer. Went back to that, sorry.
By the way, we actually have obtained, of course, this is going to be a big story. It's not yet a teaser or a sneak peek from the upcoming Trevor Bauer biopic titled Liar, Whore, Thief.
Whore! Liar! Thief! Yes! Yes! Don't you see? Yes! Don't you see?
I think she sees.
I think she does. She said yes twice before that, sir.
I think that's a bit on the nose.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too.
Where do they go from there?
By the way, don't you,
They got married right after that.
I would imagine something happens that's like sexy. I don't know the film, but probably like, liar, yes. But come here.
And
I
then he
love a
gets
lying
sued again.
thief.
Yeah.
I can't help myself. Rips off the buttons to his shirt that, he has to walk to the subway stop after with his shirt flying open.
And then she
you
sends
know
an
what
email, and then she asks for money.
Yeah,
and-
it happens all again. You just get drawn back in.
I know. So,
Bringing me back.
Bauer also addresses the other accusers. He goes on to do that in the clip. But remember, where there's smoke, there's fire. If it's 1, 2, 3, or 4, some of them must have a claim, right?
And just so no one can say, well, he still has 2 other accusers, just because the first 2 are complete frauds doesn't mean the others are. Here's a couple facts about them. They both had lawyers first demand in excess of $3 million to not go public. In both cases, only after I refused to pay any sum of money did their lawyers make anonymous claims in the media. They both had the opportunity to file a criminal complaint against me. Neither of them did. They both had the opportunity to file a civil suit against me. Neither of them did. They both had the opportunity to participate in Lindsay Hill's civil suit against me. They could have even done so anonymously. They both refused. One of them even submitted a statement to the court stating that she never made public accusations against me. The other refused to participate so vehemently that Lindsay Hill took legal action against her, trying to force her to participate. She still refused. So they both had the opportunity to testify under penalty of perjury. Neither of them did. One can only wonder why.
And the issue here, it's not just about Trevor Bauer. This is just seldom do you get a case that is so irrefutable. That's why it's important. But it does happen pretty often. We know this working, unfortunately, in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
We have friends who have had this happen. For crying out loud, there are people right now, there are A-list actors, actresses, who have had private pictures stolen from their house and then were extorted with it.
Yeah.
And you'll never know the name of the person who extorted them. Happens when someone tells you that they're shaking you down, believe them. And if this were an isolated incident, okay, it's not. As a matter of fact, it's not an exception to the rule. It's generally, in the 21st damn century, the rule. Let's go through another couple of famous cases. Remember Mattress Girl? Mattress Girl, it was Emma Solkowitz, went around all over the media, right? Front page, New York Times, carrying a mattress like it was her cross. Well, turns out that she accused this guy, Paul, I think it was like Nungesser was his name, raping her after they had a falling out. He missed his graduation. He was exonerated afterwards, but he missed his graduation. Parents never got to see him graduate at Columbia.
Jeez. What a
She
nice
texted
broad.
him.
Yeah.
She was texting him asking for incredibly explicit sex acts. And he's like, ha, 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 maybe not. Talk to you later, TTYL. And she's like, oh, no, I'm going to accuse you of rape and carry a mattress on my back for the rest of the year to destroy your life. Remember Duke Lacrosse? That was a big one. That was a big one. They were accused of raping a stripper at a party. Nope. Wasn't true. Another one, Sean Oakman Baylor, right? Sean Oakman, sorry, at Baylor. Baylor, I was saying Sean Oakman Baylor because that's how I wrote it down. Sean Oakman at Baylor was accused of rape right before you were telling me the 2016,
the 2016
draft.
NFL draft, and basically he lost his career because of this. And by the way, going back to Duke Lacrosse, they were the number one team in the country. They were probably on track to win a national championship. And you may think lacrosse is silly, fine, but they didn't. They worked their entire lives to be at the peak of their career to be able to have that moment, and it was stolen from them by mostly the media,
Right.
And a false accusation that was run with. They never get that back. This guy, Sean Oakman, never gets that back. You work your entire life for an NFL career.
10 years
Never get
gone.
it back.
Not guilty.
No.
Definitively. Didn't commit the crime. Not guilty. You don't get 10 years back. Like I've talked about. You go back and you watch those films, they're fighting over some acreage, plots of land. What do you think someone would do if they said, for 10 years, we will not allow you to yield anything on your own soil? Think people would start
It's
using
worth
bows
dying
and
for.
arrows?
Yeah. Well, and you're not only that, but your soil is guaranteed to produce millions of dollars worth of revenue for you over these next 10 years. Millions. And by the way, it's ruined after those 10 years because you can't go back.
Right.
You can't be somebody who misses the draft by 10 years and go back unless you're a quarterback, essentially, right? You're done. Your life's work is over. Thank God there's one case that actually has a positive ending. Matt Araiza, the punt god, that punter that we were talking about on the show, and thank God people were talking about him, got accused of rape at a party that I don't even think he was at.
Gang rape at a party.
Gang. It's better if the accusation's gang rape because it sounds worse.
Sounds worse.
Right?
Well, it is worse.
He was a punter, I believe, for the Buffalo Bills. He got cut. They wouldn't bring him back. Again, sorry, we know that these things, and they even had it from the DA saying this didn't happen, this girl's crazy. Finally, I think the Denver Broncos did bring him on this last year because people are finally waking up and saying, you know what, we can't continue to destroy guys' lives over lies. Somebody has to be brave, and I'm surprised it was the Denver Broncos.
Well, nobody's watching them, so.
Yeah, exactly. They're very desperate right now.
No, I'm just kidding. They have a lot of
Chiefs.
fans. But,
Chiefs? Oh, sorry. Chiefs.
Who owned the Chiefs?
Thank you for the correction.
So here, this is, again, it goes back to the illegal immigrant issue. Don't be browbeaten into feeling guilty. It's like, oh, hold on a second. You just said this woman was crazy. Guess what? You will find, if right now you type in woman crazy pejorative, you will find front page in legacy media outlets all kinds of write-ups and op-eds about how crazy is this pejorative used to describe women, and it's a byproduct of patriarchy. Guess what? Don't care. The bullies are you. The bullies are you. You want us to believe that in 2024, the office place is a boys' club where we go around smoking cigars and bragging about raping women consequence-free, or is a more likely scenario that you realize if you get the right HR person on your side, you go and file a few complaints, you get a nice early retirement, or if you find a really rich athlete and God forbid, actually trick him into sending a sperm sample, which this woman actually asked for. That is certainly a red flag, and that term is overused. Demanding your sperm is a red flag. This is one of those issues where, do you really think the picture that's been painted, the cis white straight male in the workplace is bullying everybody? Okay, show me the examples here where women have had their reputations tarred, feathered, and destroyed for crimes that they did not commit, where the public has turned on them completely.
I'll Salem witch trials, but.
Well.
I was sorry. It just came to my head. I thought,
it's a fair point.
Yeah. That was a long time ago, though.
No, it's okay.
So it's different.
You know what? My point is, at a certain point in time, the scales have tipped.
Yeah, definitely.
I saw Lily Proctor.
Also, two things can be true. They may not have been witches, but they were bitches.
I did hear that all the other women were like,
science.
It's the witches beat.
And the way they were dressing with the high skirts and the pointy hats. They were asking for it.
It was other women accusing the women of being witches.
Yes,
For
exactly.
the most part, it was like, I'm not a witch, that bitch is.
Yeah, she's a witch.
Look at her with her blonde hair. Who has blonde hair in this day and age?
So women were just throwing each other under the bus?
Yes.
Well,
That
off the
wasn't
cliff,
okay.
but yeah.
Women are the bus. as it relates to this. This is the issue. Women are the bus right now, and women, please start policing your own with this. Do you have a son? Do you have a brother? Do you have an uncle? Do you have men in your life who are good men where you see this can be taken from? Just like men want to protect women from physical violence, good men. If you're a good woman, you have to try and protect the men who matter in your life from the violence that they experience. What if you want to call it metaphysical violence, figurative? It's just as they lose their livelihood.
Everything.
If a good man, if you require of a good man, and I believe you should, women, if you require of a good man to protect women from the threat of physical violence, which, great, I agree. That's a part of a man's role. We accept it. You need to protect the men in your life from this, because this is the norm right now. This is the threat. This is why men are not getting married under the age of 30, up to 40%, depending on the stats that you use. None of this is good for society. All of it needs to go back to accountability and truth. Unfortunately, we have a clickbait culture where destroying someone's reputation, you know what people love more than a good celebrity story or a good athlete? Is a bad one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So everyone's ready to jump on, I don't even know the guy. Never heard of him before this story. I've just seen it one too many times, and we're about to go off a ledge unless you start policing your own. This guy, suspended from Major League Baseball, lost his contract by the Dodgers, and right now, this is what he has to do. He has to adapt, having committed no crimes whatsoever, having faced women who committed crimes against him, he has to relearn a whole new life to play in Mexico.
I recently signed a contract to play baseball for the Diablos Rojos, the most storied baseball franchise in Mexico. Apparently they thought it was a good idea to sign a guy straight off of YouTube. So in order to prove them right, and to represent the YouTuber community the proper way, I'll have to travel to a new country. I forgot my passport on the plane. Integrate into a new team.
I'm a part of it, all right.
Adjust to the altitude.
Altitude is kicking my ass
Bad for a
already.
pitcher.
Carefully navigate the
imagine.
media.
Would you still have the same
Ball carries further,
approach,
too.
Yep.
questioning Manfred's actions and other controversial takes?
No habla
Make sure the
español.
fan base doesn't reject me.
Fucking king of Juco, man.
And actually perform well.
Not ideal. Come on, Trevor. Figure it out.
And guys, you saw his ex profile in there. Go and show the guy some support. I don't know if he could be the biggest douchebag on the planet. I don't care.
That comment by the media where she was asking about Manfred, that's the commissioner of baseball. I think there's more to this. I don't know if he would admit to it or he has the conspiracy theory, but he came out in 2018 or 19 or whatever talking about how he liked pitchers should be able to use sticky stuff, and then the next year it was banned and outlawed, and no one can use it now. There's specific rules against it.
Okay.
It helps pitchers with accuracy, helps them with spin rate. I think it was good for baseball. I think that he would agree, and I think there's a little bit of a conspiracy there.
Really?
There's more going on?
Yeah, that's why he said carefully navigating the media, because she was asking she was directly asking that question. Manfred's, views on you and this and that. So.
But like you said, is he top 15 pitcher?
I would say, I don't know about top 15 because there's a lot of good. He's definitely top 20.
Definitely
the guy
top 20.
averages about 97 miles per hour. I think he's topped. I think he hit 99 the other day.
Okay.
On one of his videos, he was one of the guys that like revolutionized spin rate, like scientifically looking at your spin rate, getting RPMs on the ball and how to increase it.
He's a great
and he's a great pitcher. He's a great. I mean, he had set records in college.
In a parallel universe,
He won
outside
a
of the
Cy Young
false
Award in 2020.
outside of the false accusations, this guy does not have to go and restart his life in Mexico.
No, he should be. He should have one of the highest contracts in the MLB, and right now he's, for lack of better words, begging to play at league minimum.
Can somebody tell us what they pay him to play in Mexico? By the way, this isn't the first foreign country. He played in Japan as well. Right? Just looking
Crushing
for
it.
a gig. And I think even for his first start there, he had 3 scoreless innings against the Yankees.
Yeah.
They played kind of an exhibition game for the Mexico team playing against the Yankees. And
like
he had
2 months
3
ago.
scoreless
Hey,
innings.
Major League Baseball. Are there any teams out there, any people who run these teams where you can stop being morons, cowards at this point, sign the guy? You want to improve your team?
Who's the worst team, Josh? Mets?
No. I don't even know right now.
I mean, worst team. Whoever you are out there, you know who you are.
Oakland A's, obviously.
Oakland
I mean,
A's.
yeah,
You don't even
Oakland
have a-
A's.
you don't even have a
He would-
stadium.
He would still be playing in a AAA stadium,
go.
but I mean, he'd be playing the big leagues, and
There you go.
He'd be. I mean, no one. Oh, that's a
Moneyball.
great point because nobody wants to go play in Oakland right now.
No.
because they're moving to Sacramento for 3 years next year.
Yeah.
They're not going to have a pro clubhouse.
See?
Nobody wants to play there in Oakland. Or sorry, Sacramento / soon to be Vegas. Sign him.
And by the way, if you guys aren't nutless cowards, guess what? This can now at this point with the vindication, it's a victory. It's a redemption story. This is something that people will come out in droves to support
Yes.
a guy like this because everyone at this point, no one is untouched from this epidemic of false accusations out there. So Major League Baseball, I don't know if it's the Oakland A's.
Yes,
I don't know if
Oakland
the
should do it.
Expos are a thing. When I was in Montreal, they stopped it because their stadium was literally, the roof was caving in. Major League, anyone out there watching, look, you can send us a letter. I'm sure he has an agent, but my point is at this point, come on, guys, you have the evidence before you. Let's give this a redemption arc. Don't even know the guy, no clue. He deserves a spot at this point if he's good, because he wouldn't have lost his spot if not for crimes committed against him.
Watch Louder with Crowder live Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.